Hi, what's going on, everybody? This is the fourth episode of Ear to the Canvas. I'm your host, Ryan Truland. I am very excited to get into today's episode. Unfortunately, we do not have Eric Nolan on today. We tried to do it yesterday, had some technical difficulties, so we're working to reschedule him, but we'll definitely be getting Eric Nolan on within the coming weeks for sure. But we do have exciting things coming up still. Monday, gonna have Joe Selecki on the podcast. He is 1-0 in the UFC. Can't wait to get to talk to him. I'm sure I'll have a lot of interesting things to talk about. Other than that, today, got a little backup plan. Gonna be joined by my friend since high school. His name is Tony Desousa. He's a fellow Jersey native along with me, Ocean County. So he's going to be joining us. We're going to talk some MMA. Got a lot of great things going on mixed martial arts, the UFC world. Some big fights were announced. Some big fights are coming up. Dana keeps doing his thing. Conor, what is he doing? We'll get into it. So can't wait to get Tony on. I hope you enjoy our conversation.
All right, man, we're recording.
All right, what's going on?
Not too much. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell the listeners who you are, how long you've been watching UFC, all that good stuff.
All right, so first my name's Tony. I guess I first got into the UFC technically through YouTube when I was like 10. So
Damn.
we're talking like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We didn't, live lavishly, so we never got the pay-per-views. But me and Tom Finnegan, we'd go on YouTube and we'd watch highlights of Lyoto Machida, John Jones, Shad Evans, GSP, and GSP was definitely our favorite at the time. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be a filthy casual and say Conor McGregor got me back into the UFC.
Did he really? That's interesting because Conor's actually who I wanted to talk about first.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Shoot.
All right. This might be like a minute just rant. So just bear with me. So Conor's obviously been in the news with shitload lately with his pound for pound GOAT rankings and all that stuff. I think that Conor has lost a little bit of respect amongst the fighters and amongst the fans a little bit. I think it started a little bit when Gaethje beat Tony and basically said that he could fight Conor right now. It is the money fight, but he doesn't want to fight Conor. He was basically saying that Conor can wait for him. And it didn't. I feel like it didn't used to be like that. I feel like even just last year, Conor was who everybody would just fight. It's the money fight. It's the biggest fight, and it might still be, but people are kind of moving on from him a little bit. Even Masvidal, there's rumors that he wants to fight Nate Diaz. If I were him, I would want to fight Conor. But and I think him releasing those greatest of all time rankings that he did, I think even in the order that he put them in, he put Silva 1, himself 2, GSP 3, and John Jones 4. I think that was a bit of a marketing ploy on his part to set up a fight with Silva. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with what you said there. It was definitely a marketing ploy, but that marketing ploy did piss off a lot of fighters and a lot of fans. Some of the more hardcore fans.
It got a lot of people talking.
It did get a lot of people talking, and that's Conor's thing, because if you're talking about Conor, chances are you're going to want to pay your money to see Conor fight.
Yeah. Still to this day.
Conor's GOAT. I can't agree with it. I don't think he's in
I actually wanted to hear yours.
So, I don't have a number one, but I have a top 4 or 5, Silva is definitely up there because of it, I think he went on a 16-fight win streak. He defended his title 13 times or something.
Yep.
Demetrius Johnson is up there. John Jones is up there. George St. Pierre is up there. Conor, you look at his record, and I saw Ben Askren tweet that Conor lost to Nate Diaz, who isn't highly ranked at all. And that's a really good point.
It is.
The Diaz brothers, they're both great fighters. Nick Diaz was championship caliber. Nate, he's not championship caliber. He was a great matchup for Conor McGregor, but
Yeah, even in his fight against Masvidal, I think he got a little outclassed. The BMF title, I think Masvidal would run through Nate again, honestly.
I mean, Diaz did look like he was coming up a little bit more in that third round.
He did, for sure.
But those first 2 rounds were Jorge's without a doubt. And now let's circle back to Jorge. I think Jorge should say, fuck the money fight. Go for Kamaru. You know what I mean? Have the
yeah.
You already got that big payday from, and if you really believe you can beat Kamaru Usman, who's a really hard fight,
for sure,
you're gonna get title points, pay-per-view points if you could beat him.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely don't think Nate should be the fight for Jorge. I think it should be Kamaru, and if not him, I think maybe go for Colby. That would be a crazy fight.
Oh, I would love that.
Right?
They were both on the same gym. Colby just left the
yeah, that came out, yesterday?
Yeah, did you see what he said about everybody?
No. Did he, call them all out?
He called you out again, Jake Shepherd.
Oh, my God. Dude, Colby's...
I was cracking up when I read that.
Oh, my God.
I was myself in her shoes. Imagine if your old teammates, called you a cunt in front of all of the world,
That is craziness. What gym would want to take him in, honestly, knowing that if things are sour, he's just gonna fucking curse everybody off on his way out the door.
A gym that wants to make money.
That's true. A gym that wants to make money.
I mean, the only guy who's beaten Colby in recent memory is Kamaru, and that was one of the best welterweight fights.
Yeah, I know. Colby, and the way he dominated Robbie Lawler in that fight prior to that craziness.
Seen that coming. I mean, in hindsight, I don't think Robbie Lawler has ever been the same since the Laurie McDonald fight.
Yeah. He didn't look right in that fight, honestly.
He hasn't looked right since the Laurie McDonald fight. I mean, right after he lost to Tyron, he fought Cowboy, I think. And I thought Cowboy won that fight. That was forever ago, so I could just be talking out my asshole.
That was when he had the belt? When Robbie had it? Or no?
No, so Tyron Woodley beat Robbie Lawler, and then Robbie fought
okay.
Cowboy after that loss.
After the loss,
Cowboy
right.
was, up and coming at welterweight.
Right. All right, so back to my pound for pound real quick. I got DC at 4, actually. What do you think about that? Yeah, I got DC at 4.
DC's in the conversation. DC's absolutely in the conversation. But if DC's in the conversation, then so Stipe.
Yeah. I got Stipe in my top 10.
I love Stipe, man. I mean, great fighter, some of the best boxing at heavyweight. On paper, he's the most accomplished heavyweight of all time. And he's a fucking firefighter. I mean,
I know.
People are whining for him to get in there and fight right now. Dude, he's a first responder. Let him do his job during the pandemic.
Exactly. It's not the right time to...
Irrelevant. But as a first responder, let the dude do his job.
Yeah, no doubt. Just outside the top 4, I also got Mighty Mouse probably at 5.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I got Anderson at 3. I got John at 2. And I got Derek Lewis at 1. No, I'm kidding. GSP at 1.
Derek Lewis, the number 1 pound for pound go.
Yep, absolutely. But no, I got GSP at 1.
So why is GSP number 1?
I got GSP at 1 just because I just feel all around he's the GOAT. No matter where the fight goes, he's just the all-around best fighter. No PEDs. Not that I put a huge, John and Silva got pops for those. But yeah, I just got GSP at number 1. I feel like he's just the upper echelon of mixed martial arts, the way he carried himself, both inside and outside the octagon. I think it's going to be tough to overtake him as number 1.
He was the first fighter who didn't look like he had daddy problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would walk into the octagon with a gi and he would bow.
Yeah. He's literally a model-looking guy.
yeah, exactly. his accent makes him sound really innocent.
Yeah.
Like he's just trash talking, you know.
Yep.
Except for when he was trying to trash talk Bisping in their fight. That was a little cringy, but it was funny. He was like, well, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, George. Maybe leave all the talking to Michael.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that he was able to finish Michael on, not finish him on the feet, but if he didn't rock him with that hook, then he would not have even gone to the ground.
Yeah.
I was very surprised at that because Bisping is largely known for his striking. I mean, before he came into the UFC, he was knocking dudes out left and right in Europe. Like, he was like a knockout artist.
Yeah.
And then for GSP to go up in weight and then drop him, and then I think he landed like more than 15 elbows.
Yeah.
And then got the choke. It was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like you said, GSP's the GOAT, and that's going to lead me to one of my biggest fantasized super fights. GSP versus Habib.
I was going to say, do you think we see GSP in the UFC again?
Unfortunately, I don't.
I don't either. I do not.
I did before pandemic, but now I don't because all the events are up in the air. I mean, who knows if we'll be able to get back to normal.
Yeah.
Who knows if GSP's still training right now.
Yep.
But GSP did a weight cut to 155, and he made it to 155. Like he did it to kind of show, like, hey, I can cut this low. Me and Habib, let's do it.
Yep.
That would be
3-division champ for GSP. That would be wild.
Oh, stop.
If he could pull that off.
Face tattooed on my butt if you did that.
All right, man. So I'm sure you saw there were some pretty big fights announced last couple of days. Did you see Robert Whittaker versus Darren Till is in the works?
I did.
How crazy is that? Yeah, July 25th.
It's 5 days after my birthday. Please, MMA.
That's a good birthday present right there.
Yeah, dude. I was really big on the Till hype train at 170.
I was too.
I didn't think that cut was just way too much for him. And Tyron is a beast. Like, Tyron is one of the better.
Yeah, we'll get to him later.
History. Yeah, and then Till to make it up to 185. I just feel like Till wins a lot of his fights by like just pressuring his opponent. I heard someone say he has this intangible pressure where like he's just massive.
He is massive, even at 185.
Dude, yeah, even at 185. I mean, like he made Kelvin Gastelum look.
Oh yeah, you really saw that in that fight for sure. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are some of the other fights that got announced?
Other fights, we got Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade 2. That's going to be July 11th.
I'm hyped for that rematch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like ever since Conor threw the volley at the window, Rose has
the same. Yeah.
You know?
That really shook her.
She talked a lot about mental health, and she was very open on the Joe Rogan podcast about she was just very transparent. Like, she talked about mental health issues, and she talked about having PTSD. And,
wow.
And I know what Conor did definitely shook her up. Like, she probably felt somewhat safe in the octagon before that. But
yeah.
I hope she's able to relax and get in that mindset again where, like, she dethroned the queen.
Yeah.
I mean, Joanna Jędrzejczyk is in the running for top 5 female fighters of all time.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you saw Wei Li actually said that she wants to fight Rose. She would like to fight Rose in her next title defense, yeah. Which is an interesting call out. She would have to beat Andrade, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I guess that would make sense. But then she's 1-1.
I'm looking at the other rankings. There's Andrade, there's Rose, then there's Tatiana Suarez, then Joanna, and then after that it gets pretty nobody's really going to be challenging right now after that.
The most fascinating fighter in the women's division is Amanda Nunes, and that's because she's the undoubtable. You know, put her up in my top 5 pound for pound greatest.
Yeah.
Because Nunes
Tartarzi.
is just this unstoppable. I mean, dude, the way she beat Misha Tate, and then after that, she's just defended 2 titles now. Chris Cyborg was the most feared female on planet Earth, and Nunes beat her at her own game.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people forget that Nunes beat Valentina Shevchenko, I think, twice, too.
Yeah, and Valentina put
Valentina's, yeah, she's my number 2 women's fighter, definitely.
She's a badass too. She's got really good, an overall rounded game in MMA.
Yeah.
She's good on the feet. She's good against the cage.
Good striker.
She's good on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, so real quick, back to Whitaker and Till. So now Whitaker, Till are fighting. You got Izzy is going to fight Costa, likely, anyway. There's an odd man out, Jared Cannonier, who's like the dark horse of that division in a lot of people's minds. Who do you think he fights? Yoel, maybe? Yoel, there's Jack Hermanson, there's that guy Edmund Shabazian, that up-and-comer. I don't know.
I like that, but put Kelvin back in the mix, too. Kelvin has
For sure.
a amount of time.
For sure.
And I got to tell you, my favorite fighter is Israel Adesanya.
Me too.
I met him in Atlantic City.
Dude, you met him?
2 years ago. I met him, yeah.
That is awesome.
I doubt he's ever going to listen to this, but shout out to my guy.
Dude, no, he listens to all these episodes. What are you talking about?
Get me the hookup. He likes anime, and I grew up on anime.
Yeah.
I still love it. And he, he's into kickboxing and Muay Thai, and I absolutely love Muay Thai. And I just really like the way he carries himself. Like,
for sure.
There's no bullshit when it comes to him. You know what I mean?
He's very in the moment. He's very aware of what's going on. Yeah, he really is.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love it. Like,
very self-aware. Yep.
Mhm. Like I feel like he's doing everything right. I mean,
me too. Honestly.
He's good on the mic. He's talking to therapists when he has to, just to keep himself from, pulling a Conor McGregor.
Yeah, exactly. He's talked about not wanting to do that. Crazy.
It's an important thing.
Yep.
I hope Conor's seeing a therapist now, honestly.
I don't know if he's seeing a therapist, but you see how much he's freaking eating? You see those pictures of Conor? He looks like he weighs 180 right now.
Dude, he looks jacked.
Yeah.
There's the lighting, or some Photoshop, or some Mexican supplements.
Yeah, he's been munching. Crazy.
Right, so go back to middleweight. So Kelvin could fight. I think Kelvin could fight
Jared.
Cannonier. I think that'd be a really good middleweight fight. See who's in the top 4.
Yeah, because Kelvin, if he gets another win over a guy like Cannonier, he's got to be right back in that title conversation. Because the way especially if Izzy still has a belt, because that was one of the best title fights I've ever seen.
Dude, that's my favorite fight of all time.
Yeah, unbelievable. When he dropped Izzy, that was in the first round, I believe, right? When he
rocked him in the first, and
then
he
he
rocked him again in the fourth.
With that head kick. That head kick came out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude. It was so fast, too.
The first head kick. I think that might have been the first kick he threw all fucking fight.
Maybe ever.
Yeah.
Dude, I was really impressed by Kelvin's head movement in that fight. I mean, he was flipping lots of distance punches. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Israel is a wizard when it comes to striking. So I was really shocked to see that.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, Kelvin's no joke. Yeah.
Not at all, bro. He hits so hard.
So hard.
But, then Izzy came back in that fifth and final round.
Yeah, and did what one of the greatest does.
He had a couple of he had a couple of submission attempts on a high level black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know. Every time there was a scramble, Izzy would throw up some sort of submission, a triangle or something. It was wild.
He's been doing jiu-jitsu for maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
He's a blue belt, and he's throwing up submissions at guys who I think he's a risk taker,
Absolutely.
He's not playing around. He's in there that whole time trying to take your head.
Absolutely. All right, third fight that was announced. This one's sick. They tried to make this fight in the past, but now they're making it, and Dana has said that the winner of this fight fights for the featherweight belt. Brian Ortega versus Korean Zombie.
You see, they had an altercation.
Yeah, they got beef.
And it was very out of character for Brian Ortega.
Yep.
And
I don't even know if they can. Does Korean Zombie really speak English? How did they?
Enough. I think
enough to have beef with Ortega, I guess.
Dude, it was like Ortega like slapped his friend when the zombie wasn't even there. And it was like he was not even a fighter. Like I thought Ortega held himself to a higher degree than that. I mean,
yeah, it seems like it anyway. Very out of character.
I was really disappointed. I was really disappointed. Either he's doing it for clout, or maybe he's an asshole.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was an asshole. So, it's one or the other. But, if you're just genuinely not that type of guy, then don't try to fake it, because that's just as bad.
It absolutely is. What do you think of the fight itself?
Korean Zombie's coming off of the win against Frankie Edgar.
Right? He is, yep, in Korea.
And that was on short notice. So those are short notice replacement. So he's training for... Who was he training to fight originally?
Korean Zombie? I think it was Ortega. I could be wrong.
Pulled out?
I think so. Ortega still hasn't fought since Holloway.
Yeah. Ortega hasn't fought since Holloway, and that was a beating.
Yeah,
so
took a beating. Tore his ACL after.
If Ortega beats Zombie, I don't think he should get a title shot. If the Korean Zombie beats Ortega,
he definitely, I think, deserves. Because I'm just looking at who'd he beat last, Frankie, and then he put down Moicano.
Okay. Yeah, then that could be she could get the winner of Holloway and Volkanovski after they get the rematch.
Yeah.
The rematch I definitely want to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Volkanovski beat Holloway, but it wasn't very convincing. Like, if that fight had gone another 5 rounds, who knows how it would have gone. Yeah,
Holloway is so hard to put out, man.
He is. He's so tough. I mean, has he ever been finished?
I don't know. Did Dustin? No, Dustin won by decision, right?
Yeah, Dustin, but that was a beating too.
Yeah, Dustin did. Yeah. Absolutely.
He looked so much bigger than Holloway in that fight.
He did. So much more power.
He was jacked.
Yeah.
Whereas at featherweight, he was kind of scrawny. I want to see Dustin and Conor fight again. I really want that rematch. Yeah,
that would be a sick rematch. I can't wait to see what Conor does. I really don't know. But what do you think they're gonna? Because Fight Island is gonna happen within the next 2 months or so. What do you think? Who would you like to see the first main event of Fight Island be? Like, just a name. Doesn't even have to be a matchup. Would you like to see it be Conor with Masvidal? A title fight?
I think what I would like to see is different than what I think I should see. So what I would like to see is Izzy and Paulo.
Okay.
In July. I would like, International Fight Week. I think that's like the first week of July.
Yes. Yep.
I would really like to see that, and maybe as a co-main, you could put. I would like to see Conor at the co-main, but everyone seems kind of booked,
Yeah.
Justin and Tony just fought. Tony needs a year off. Justin and Khabib are fighting likely in September.
Yep. After Ramadan.
Unless you want to make that the co-main. That's if Justin's ready for that, though.
Yeah, and I think Khabib has Ramadan, which I think.
No, it's over.
Oh, it is over.
Yeah, Khabib said he's good to fight whenever.
Oh, okay.
But I think Justin needs some time to recover, so I'm thinking September makes more sense for Justin.
Maybe you do Izzy. How sick would this be? Main event, Izzy Costa. Co-main event, Colby Jorge.
Yes, I would love that.
How sick of a card would that be?
I would love that. Maybe for an interim. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because if not for Kamaru, Colby would be the champion. Without a doubt in my mind. Colby is between Kamaru and Colby for the 2 best welterweights in the world right now.
I agree. All right. Next thing I wanted to get to. So Brett Okamoto said he talked to Dana. I think it was last night. This is a quote from Dana. I'll read it to you. He said, if he had to guess, when will the first UFC event with a live audience be? He said he's lucky in that he can move his business around and he's being very aggressive. But as soon as the location says it's ready for fans, he's going. Which, first thing that comes to my mind is the UFC will definitely be the first sport back with a live audience. I believe that. And I am really impressed through all of this, with I've had gripes with him in the past for some things, but through all this, he's honestly impressed me with his matchmaking and his persistence through all this. Just making shit happen.
You know, when I first got into the UFC, I just looked at Dana as, you know, big chunky bald guy. just like to.
Oh, he's still a big chunky bald guy.
He's jacked, bro. Don't get it twisted. So I agree. I had problems with Dana in the past. You know, not personally. I don't fucking know the guy.
Yeah.
I had problems with the way I thought he handled things, but in the past, I mean, look, he tried to schedule Tony and Habib a fifth time. Take your hat off to that.
Yeah.
He gave us Conor versus Cowboy. Israel skyrocketing through the middleweight division kind of made sense, and he allowed that to happen. And he
pushed him at the right pace.
Spotlight. When Cowboy and Conor fought, and I'm using Conor as a big argument point because everyone said, "Oh, Conor is Dana's little baby boy." Like, shut the fuck up. Because when they promoted Conor versus Cowboy, they promoted Cowboy just as much as they promoted Conor, and I take my fucking hat off to that.
They did,
Cowboy,
and it was Conor's return too.
Man, bro. When Bruce Buffer announced Cowboy, he announced like 3 of his records, and it was like you hear Bruce Buffer saying the most head kicks and the most finishes and the most wins. Like, dude, thank you for that. Like, you gave a non-championship fan favorite fighter his spotlight.
Yeah, and you know what?
Deserved.
Honestly, a lot of like just casual fans tuned into that fight because it was Conor and it was his return back. So a lot of casual fans got to know more about Cowboy and like the legend of him. And they really.
Unfortunately, he only lasted 40 seconds.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what they got to saw. Hopefully they go back and watch some of his highlights.
Yeah, hopefully. I didn't get to watch Cowboy in his fight with Pettis, but I heard it was kind of controversial.
Yeah, it was a close fight. Yeah, I figured it would be. They're kind of at similar stages of their career. But, yeah.
He's a little bit older now.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like 2 guys. It did look like 2 older guys who aren't quite title contenders anymore. But definitely a good fight, high level. It was high level. Yeah.
Some of the highest level.
Yeah, for sure.
Still. It's just lightweight is so stacked right now.
Crazy.
I mean, lightweight is the deepest talented, and it's the most populated division.
Yeah. All right, that kind of brings me into my next thing. So before I let you go, we got Woodley versus Burns coming up tomorrow. Main event. So you just said that the lightweight division is the deepest and best division, which I completely agree with. That, and then I would say probably featherweight is 2. But I've been making, I think it was my last episode, I made the argument that welterweight is the most fascinating division. With just the characters that are in that division and the infusion of like new and old blood with like you got guys like you got Woodley, who is one of the greatest welterweights ever. You got Wonder Boy, who's still top 5. You got RDA, Nate Diaz is in there, Robbie Lawler. Now you got Conor in there, which is crazy. And then
is Nate and Conor really in there though? Look, do you ever picture Nate and Conor being a top 5 contender at welterweight?
I don't know, but the way I just have no clue what Conor's next move is going to be. I really don't.
Look, when I heard that Conor and Kamaru were, he even came out with the betting odds for them.
Conor would have a rough time. Yeah.
He would either get finished in the first or second, or it would just be like a tech fall. Bell 1 through bell 5.
Yeah, similar to like what Kamaru did to Woodley. Like just dominant.
Dude, probably worse. I mean, look at the size difference between Kamaru, Woodley, and Conor. I mean, Woodley.
That was because Woodley didn't show up that night, though. Yeah, exactly.
I guess Woodley didn't show up. I don't know. That or Kamaru's wrestling is that high level.
Yeah, which is wild to think about, because Woodley is at high level. And
you look at the way they fight. I mean, Woodley is really good at pacing for an explosive person, because he kind of sits there and he's dancing and then he explodes.
Yep.
Whereas Kamaru, which we saw in his fight with Colby, can put on a crazy fucking pace.
Oh, yeah.
Tyron could keep up with that. And personally,
I don't think there's anybody in the UFC, honestly, because Colby's pace is on a whole nother level, and Usman was right with him and then passed him at the end, which is just insane.
Oh, dude, incredible. And then the way he finished him in that fifth round.
Yeah.
Unbelievable fight.
Yeah. So what do you think about Woodley versus Burns?
So I recently discovered Burns thanks to Chael Sonnen. I saw some of his
Uncle
highlights,
Chael.
saw some of his fights. Uncle Chael. Another shout out.
I love him.
So, I mean, both guys do have like real good highlights, and Tyron is one of the best welterweights in the world. It's like he doesn't believe that. I mean, I think Tyron should have taken up a fight with Jorge or with Colby, just because those are a little bit bigger names and maybe they're a little bit bigger in talent. But there's a really good chance Gilbert could get this win.
There is. It's kind of like a high risk, low reward for Tyron a little bit.
It is, and Tyron is a little bit of all respect to him. He's a little bit of a mental midget. I mean, I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple of years ago, and he just sounded very whiny, like
yeah.
Don't give me the credit I deserve. And it's
yep.
Dude, you have all the credit in the world. You have the belt. Nothing else matters. You are the champion of the world. Why are you still acting like he's not acting like he's hungry? He's acting
exactly.
Like,
I think he got sidetracked with this like. Yeah, I think he got sidetracked a little bit in his last couple fights. Well, I mean, he dominates Till, but with his rap career, he's all over TV, or he was anyway. Yeah.
Come on, dude. Stick to fighting.
Yeah, he's gotta. If he's focused, I think he can beat Burns. If he comes in unfocused, I think he's gonna be surprised.
I heard Dana White say once that if you could play a video game and play as Tyron Woodley, he's the greatest fighter in the world.
Yeah.
He just needs to believe that.
Yeah, I got a strange itch. Like, probably don't listen to me since I'm about to pick Woodley. Probably pick Burns if you're betting. But
hey, I always think I was Vegas. I'm not a
yeah, but something tells me Tyron's gonna sit back and catch Burns coming in. But who knows?
Well, Burns is known for his jiu-jitsu as well, isn't he?
Definitely, he's won gold at like Abu Dhabi and a bunch of different shit like that.
So if it
Definitely.
goes to the ground, I can't picture Tyron wanting to go on the ground.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's going to be a stand-up, and I don't see Burns being able to take Tyron down.
Yeah, I don't either.
Tyron was an All-American wrestler.
Yep.
So it'll probably be more of a kickboxing fight, and if that's the case, Tyron's got some dynamite in those hands. He's got probably the strongest right hand in that division.
Yeah, he can put your lights out with one punch. Anybody, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. The rest of the card is a little weak, but it is what it is. We got UFC 250, though, the week after. And I was talking a bunch of shit about how I wouldn't pay more than $250 for this card, like before they started adding fights. But now that they added fights, I'm looking at the card here. I'm going to read off the card, and you just tell me, like, what are some of the fights that you're really excited for here. So
Nunez is on it.
She sure is. Early prelims, it's Alonzo Menafield versus Devin Clark, and then you got flyweight fight, top 10s, Yusier Formiga versus Alex Perez. And then the prelims, you got Charles Byrd versus Maki Pitolo. I don't know him. And then you got, this is a good one. This is at bantamweight, Cody Stamann versus Brian Kelleher. Then you got Ian Heinisch versus Gerald Meerschaert. You got Alex Caceres versus Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper's a character. And then the main event, kicking off the main event, Eddie Wineland versus Sugar Show Sean O'Malley. Can't wait for that.
Sean O'Malley's he's challenging for gold, I'm telling you. He's gonna chase it.
Yeah, this is gonna be as big because Eddie Wineland's been in there with some of the best. He usually loses when he fights. Yeah, he fought like Henan Barrow. Like guys back then, he's a veteran. He's been around forever. He usually falls short when he fights the best of the best. So I'm really excited to see if Sean O'Malley is going to be the best of the best. This will be a good test.
He might be. I mean, Sean O'Malley is very talented.
For sure.
We kind of saw him. I guess the first time we saw him was the first fight he had. No, it was the fight where he broke his foot. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I saw him first in the Contender Series, and then, yeah, I can't remember who he was fighting.
I can't either, but I know he broke his foot, and then they took it to the ground for some reason, and it was like, bro, if you had stayed standing, you would have won that.
Yeah, he was great in his last fight, though.
Striker.
Yeah.
First round knockout.
Yeah.
In the first couple of minutes. It was incredible.
Yeah, he didn't even miss a strike, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you got Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin. And then co-main event, pretty sick fight, Aljamain Sterling versus Corey Sandhagen. What are your thoughts on that one? That's it's an interesting fight because then you got Peter Yan. Let me pull up the rankings real quick. Yeah, so at bantamweight, Marlon Moraes is actually still #1 contender, it says.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Then Aljo's 2, and then Sandhagen's 4.
Okay. I like that fight because that's gonna be for a top 5. That's gonna further the discussion for the belt at bantamweight, which is kind of an interesting discussion because Aldo and Peter Yan are fighting for.
That's right.
Which kind of doesn't make sense because Jose is coming off a loss.
I know.
It's controversial, but it is a loss.
I thought they should have done Peter Yan versus Sterling for the interim.
It makes more sense to me.
Yeah. But they're going to make Sterling earn another win, and Sandhagen's a freaking tough son of a bitch. So that's no easy night. And then you got the main event, Nunes and Felicia Spencer. What do you think about that?
Nunes is going to win, dude. She always does. I mean, if she doesn't, I would be very surprised.
Yeah. I don't see how you can go to Vegas or go on like FanDuel and bet against Amanda Nunes. I mean, what are you doing?
No way. No way. She's going to go down in history, without a doubt.
Yeah. There's no woman that has that. She just has so much power.
That, and she's
crazy.
Such a good, jiu-jitsu artist. I mean, on the ground, she's a beast.
Yeah, everywhere the fight goes, she's tough.
She's horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere the fight goes, she's horrifying.
Yeah. And that's similar to GSP. That's what makes the best of the best.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't think about it that way. She's like the GSP of
no way.
Of the women's division.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. All right, Tony. Well, I appreciate it very much you coming on, man.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like we talked a lot about some good shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. I'm definitely going to have you on again.
Cool. Sounds good, brother.
All right.
Take it easy.
You too, man. Take care.
Later.
Alright, let me just take a quick break to tell you guys about our sponsor, Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's an app available to download on your computer, iPhone, or Android, and it's the easiest way to make a podcast. For starters, it's free. Everything's free on Anchor, and it gives you all kinds of tools that allow you to record and edit and create your very own podcast right from your computer or phone. Now you may be thinking to yourself, man, how do I get my podcast out to the people? Well, Anchor even distributes your podcast on all the biggest platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music. You can even profit from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.